Hey everyone, welcome to The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever say something you thought would calm things down, but instead it blew everything up? That's exactly what happened when I looked Ridge in the eyes and said 7 little words. I think Deacon could make Taylor happy. I didn't expect his face to twist with anger. I didn't expect him to storm out like I'd just betrayed him. But the truth is, I wasn't trying to hurt Ridge. I was trying to save us. Now, Ridge is furious, Taylor's caught in the middle, and Deacon. Well, Deacon might just be the spark that sets everything on fire. And if Sheila gets involved? You know, when I look back at my life, sometimes I wonder how I even got here, standing in the middle of this never-ending triangle between Ridge, Taylor, and myself. Decades of history, decades of fights, reconciliations, betrayals, and promises whispered in the dark. Sometimes I think Ridge and I are destined to be together forever. Other times I feel like we're just doomed to repeat the same mistakes until neither of us has the strength to fight anymore. But here I am again. I have Ridge back. After months of losing sleep, crying in silence, trying to convince him. No, remind him that what we have is real and that it matters. After watching him drift toward Taylor like he always does, I finally have him back in my arms. You'd think I'd feel secure, like I'd finally won the war. But the truth is, every time I see Taylor's face, a part of me wonders how long it will last. How long until Ridge gets that look in his eyes again, the one that says he's slipping away. That fear, it's always there. It sits in the back of my mind like a shadow that never leaves. I can smile, laugh, hold Ridge's hand, and feel his warmth next to me in bed, but deep down I know Taylor's still waiting. She always is. She's the kind of woman who won't give up on Ridge, no matter how many times he's let her down, no matter how many times he's come back to me. She believes he'll return to her someday. And sometimes, God help me, I believe it too. But here's the thing. I'm not heartless. I don't hate Taylor, not in the way people might think. Sure, she's my rival, the woman I've fought with for years, the person who's stolen pieces of my life. But I don't wake up every day wishing her pain. I want her to be happy. I really do. It's just, I want her happiness to be far away from Ridge. That's why when I look at her now, alone, still yearning for the kind of love she's never quite managed to keep, I think maybe it's time she finds someone new. Someone who can love her without reservations. Someone who won't bounce back and forth between her and another woman like a man who can't make up his mind. And strangely enough, Deacon Sharp came to mind. Now, I know what you're thinking. Deacon is no saint. Believe me, I know that better than anyone. Our history is complicated, messy, filled with mistakes I'll carry with me forever. But lately, I've seen something in Deacon that I didn't think I'd ever see. A softness, a willingness to grow, a desperate need to prove he's not the man he once was. He's been hurting too. His marriage to Sheila has been crumbling, and honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. Sheila is, well, Sheila. Dangerous. Manipulative, destructive. And Deacon, for all his faults, deserves more than a life shackled to her darkness. So when Deacon started reaching out to Taylor, first for therapy, then just for comfort, it wasn't hard to imagine what might happen next. I saw the way Taylor looked at him, cautious but curious. I saw the way Deacon softened in her presence, almost as if he was a man reborn just by standing in her light. That's when the thought crossed my mind. A thought I never imagined I'd say out loud. But I did. 7 words that changed everything. I think Deacon could make Taylor happy. I said it to Ridge, thinking it would ease his mind, thinking it would convince him to finally let go of this need to control Taylor's life. I thought he'd be relieved, grateful, even, that Taylor might finally find love with someone else. But instead, I watched his face twist in anger, his jaw clench, his eyes darken in that way they do when his temper takes over. He couldn't believe I'd even suggest it. Deacon. With Taylor. he snapped at me, his voice low but dangerous. He'll destroy her, Brooke. He destroys everyone he touches. You know that better than anyone. The irony of that nearly broke me. Ridge, standing there, furious at the thought of Deacon hurting Taylor, as if he hadn't broken her heart himself more times than I could count. As if he hadn't broken my heart just as often. But that's Ridge. He can't see it. He'll never admit it. He hurts the women who love him, but in his mind, he's always the protector, the one who knows best. I tried to explain it to him, tried to make him see what I saw, that Deacon has changed, that he needs someone like Taylor, and maybe, just maybe, Taylor needs someone like him. But Ridge wouldn't hear it. He stormed off, leaving me standing there with the weight of my words heavy on my chest. And that's when I realized something. Those 7 words hadn't just provoked Ridge's wrath. They had cracked something between us. Something fragile, something I wasn't sure we could put back together. Because if Ridge couldn't accept Taylor moving on with Deacon, then what did that say about him? About us? About this endless cycle we've been trapped in for decades? The thing about Ridge is that he has this hero complex. He wants to save everyone, even the people he's already broken. And while some women might find that noble, I've lived through enough of it to see it for what it really is. Control. When he stormed out after I said those words, I think Deacon could make Taylor happy. I stood there in the silence of our living room, my heart pounding in my chest. I could still hear the echo of his footsteps leaving, the slam of the door vibrating through my bones. And for a moment, I felt like I was 20 years younger again, watching him walk out on me for Taylor the first time. It's funny how time doesn't heal everything. Sometimes it just makes the scars deeper. I poured myself a glass of wine, sat on the couch, and tried to breathe. But all I could think about was his face when I said it. The way his eyes burned with fury, as if I'd committed some unforgivable crime just by speaking aloud what was already so obvious. And maybe I was being reckless. Maybe I was tempting fate. But what was I supposed to do? Pretend I didn't see the sparks between Taylor and Deacon? Pretend that the idea of them together didn't make a certain kind of sense? The truth is, part of me wants them together. Not just to secure Ridge's love, though I'd be lying if I said that wasn't part of it, but because maybe, for once, Taylor could stop looking at me like I stole everything from her. Maybe she could finally stop seeing Ridge as the end-all, be-all of her happiness. And Deacon. Well, I know what it feels like to be written off, to be seen as nothing more than your worst mistakes. He deserves a chance to prove he's more than his past. And Taylor, of all people, could help him do that. She's a healer. That's what she does. But Ridge doesn't see it that way. The next morning, he came home. He didn't apologize for storming out, and I didn't apologize for saying what I said. That's not how we work. Instead, we circled each other like 2 fighters in a ring, waiting to see who'd strike first. Finally, he broke the silence. I won't let Taylor get involved with Deacon. The certainty in his voice made my stomach drop. I hated the way he said it, as if Taylor was some fragile doll he had to protect, as if she couldn't make her own choices. Ridge, I said softly, trying to stay calm, you don't get to decide who Taylor loves. She's a grown woman. She knows what she wants. And Deacon isn't it, he shot back. You don't know him like I do. I couldn't help it. I laughed. A bitter, broken laugh that slipped out before I could stop it. Don't I? Don't you think I know Deacon better than anyone? I've seen the worst of him, Ridge. I've lived it. And I've also seen him change. You don't want to believe it because it doesn't fit the picture you've painted in your head, but it's true. He looked at me then, his jaw tight, his eyes searching mine for something. Maybe doubt, maybe weakness. But I didn't give him any. Taylor doesn't need you to save her, I continued. And she doesn't need you to decide what's best for her. Maybe Deacon is exactly the kind of man she needs right now. Someone flawed, someone human. Someone who understands what it's like to fall and still try to stand back up again. He didn't say anything after that. He just stared at me, the silence between us louder than any fight we'd ever had. And in that silence, I realized how fragile we really were. Because if Ridge couldn't let Taylor go, if he couldn't truly cut that cord, then what future did we have? That night, I lay awake beside him, listening to the rhythm of his breathing, and I couldn't stop my mind from wandering. Was he dreaming of me, or was he dreaming of her? Was he holding me because he loved me, or because I was the woman who happened to be there when his heart couldn't make up its mind? It's a terrible thing, doubting the man you love. It eats at you, little by little, until you don't know if you're protecting your relationship or just clinging to something that's already gone. But then, as if the universe wanted to remind me that nothing in this world stays simple for long, Deacon showed up at Taylor's door. I heard about it through the grapevine, of course. In this town, secrets don't stay secrets for long. His marriage with Sheila had imploded, her lies about Luna, her twisted games, all of it finally catching up to her. And where did he go for comfort? Straight to Taylor. Part of me felt vindicated, like my words had come true. But another part of me felt a creeping dread. Because if Deacon and Taylor started something real, it wouldn't just be Ridge I'd have to worry about. It would be Sheila. And Sheila Carter doesn't let go without a fight. The thought of it kept me up at night. I pictured her eyes, those cold, wild eyes that could turn from love to hatred in a heartbeat. If Taylor became the reason Sheila lost Deacon, what would Sheila do to her? What would she do to any of us? I wanted to tell Ridge all of this, to make him understand that the world is bigger than his need to control Taylor's choices. But I knew how it would go. He'd get that look, the one that says he knows best, and we'd be right back where we started. So instead, I kept my fears to myself. But deep down, I knew it was only a matter of time before everything exploded. Because on this ride we call life, or maybe just this ride we call Los Angeles, happiness never lasts. Not for long. And I could feel it in my bones. Something was coming. Something that might tear us all apart.